Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a Thanksgiving special episode of Cuz You Don't Know Football. Y'all did that like 3 times before this. Y'all didn't even see that, but that's okay. We got it right when it mattered. Guys, let's just jump right into it. Guys, week 11 is in the books. Guys, we already at week 11. This season is flying by. This whole year is flying by. Not just even just football, but like just the year. Am I crazy about that? You guys tell me what you think about that. That's the first thing I want you guys to comment about. Is this year flying by or no? Either way, very, very exciting week. There's just a bunch of stuff we want to get into. Excuse me, it wasn't week 11. I lied. It was week 12. Week 12 games. You see what I'm saying? So, but like, let's just get into it. There's a lot of wonky stuff happening. First of all, my first question is, guys, who are the Cleveland Browns? The Cleveland Browns in back-to-back weeks have beaten the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens. And both of those teams have been identified as major threats to win the AFC. And the Browns have won 3 games, 2 of which are against those 2 teams, which is crazy. They wasn't even on the games to watch, and now we got to go over it in this snowy game. And Jameis balled out too. Yeah, I'm being honest with you. Jameis Winston is like my favorite funny player. Like he's like the most entertaining. Like you could just like sit there and just say, Jameis, go do stuff, and he's going to do a whole bunch of stuff. He's incredible to watch in that regard. Hilarious guy. But let's get into it. So Russell Wilson, he was 21 and 28 for 270 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks. Not much on the ground at all. But Jalen Warren, he had 11 carries for 45 yards, but he also had a touchdown. And Calvin Austin III, he had 3 receptions for 78 yards and a touchdown. And that's all that kind of went through the air there. Now, Jameis, he was 18 of 27 for 219 yards. No touchdowns in a pick. Always leave it to Jameis to have like really good yards. And if he's going to play good, if it's going to be touchdowns, it's going to be some picks too. You know, that's just Jameis Winston. That's funny. Nick Chubb had 20 carries for 59 yards. 20 carries for 59 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Jameis also had a rushing touchdown. Jerry Jeudy led him in receiving with 6 receptions for 85 yards. Now to be honest with you guys, I definitely feel like the Steelers looked at the Cleveland Browns and said, we could probably take our foot off the gas a little bit, and we could probably still beat them. And that's the wrong thing to do. That's the wrong way to look at anything in the NFL. But this will probably be a good loss for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But the Cleveland Browns are showing you right now what people thought when they were like, maybe they can contend for this division. Now it hasn't worked out like that. They're not going to go to the playoffs. Nothing's going to go crazy like that. But they have a very talented roster. You know what I mean? They just need the quarterback to work in that same kind of way. You know what I mean? To get that right. So I'm still excited to see about them next year. This was just a funny wonky kind of game. The Cowboys and Commanders. Now I'm not even gonna go into stats on that one because I don't have it. But let me just tell y'all, that was just the Cowboys day. Like 2 kick returns. A kick, no, first of all, you drive down the field, you get within 3, all of that, Hail Mary going on, all of that. They return the kickoff. You get back down the field, you score again, and you tie it up. Like you get in position to tie it up. Your kicker misses the misses the field goal, and then you onside kick it, and they return that. Like it was just too much going in the favor of the Cowboys. This is why even when you play a good team versus a bad team, this is why I'm very slow on divisional games. I don't like to what's what I'm looking for. I don't like to just look at a good team playing a bad team in their own division and say they're going to win or they're going to beat the spread or anything like that. This is a prime example of that, and you guys need to keep that in mind. And then I'm also just going to brush over the Chiefs squeaking it out against the Panthers. I know it looks like on paper, the Chiefs should have blown them out, especially coming off of a loss last week to the Buffalo Bills. And so to beat a team like the Carolina Panthers only by 3, and the Panthers are in line maybe to have the worst record in football, I get it. And to be honest with you, I agree with you. So for everybody saying it, I agree with you. They should have blown them out. They should have sent a message, and they didn't. However, these are the Chiefs, and y'all gonna keep poking the bear, and they gonna come out and they gonna show you what it is. This doesn't change a thing for me. This is exactly for me. This is exactly what I want to see with the Chiefs. I want to see them have to. I need the Chiefs to be scared. I need the Chiefs to have healthy fear going into the playoffs. And if you get that version of the Chiefs across the whole roster, where they're saying, I'm afraid of this team I'm playing, and and I know I have to bring something extraordinary to beat them, because that's what everybody says when they play the Chiefs. So if they bring that, this is gonna get stupid, and that's exactly how I feel. So, um, the Lions beat my bum ass Colts. I mean, 24-6. We didn't even score a touchdown. We drove down a couple times. I mean, we could have, but I don't think in this game we, even if we would have hit on all of the, even if we would have did everything right, I still think we would have lost to this game. So the Lions are just a better team. Shout out to the Lions, man. They rocking and they rolling, and they actually in line this week to win 10 straight games. And the Detroit Lions have not won 10 straight games since, what was that, 1934 or something like that. They're not a notoriously good football roster, football team. It's not a football city. So what they're doing right now is remarkable, and they're showing, you know what I mean, growth. And people wanted to see this with through Barry Sanders. People wanted to see this through Calvin Johnson, and in fact that it's happening now. You got to be happy for the Detroit Lions for what's going on. Broncos Broncos are still going along, you know. Broncos 129-19. They're handling business. They're handling business. I want to see how many yards the Bo Nix threw for. That's all I really care about this game. He was 273 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no picks. Like, they're handling business. Like, let's close. I'm ready to start to close. This is the first week where I'm saying we're starting to close the door on anybody else, and the Broncos are just going to make the playoffs. I'm leaning towards that. I'm creaking. You know how you open the door or you close the door and go, that's where I'm at. I'm not. It's not to do. You see, it's you see. That's the difference. So keep that in mind. But the Broncos are tough, man. The Broncos are a good team. All right. So now we're getting back to these stats. Seahawks, they beat the Arizona Cardinals division rivalry. They won 16-6. Um, let's see. Kyler Murray, he was 24 of 37 for 285 yards, no touchdowns, and a pick. They had nothing on the ground. Trey Benson led them in rushing with 4 carries for 18 yards. Ouch. No rushing touchdowns. Uh, let's see. Trey McBride, he led them in receiving with 12 receptions for 133 yards. And not much more. Who's this? Michael Wilson had 54 yards receiving. You know, not much there. The Seahawks, Gino, he was 22 of 31 for 254 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Uh, Kenneth Walker, he had 16 carries for 41 yards, no touchdowns on the ground. Jackson Smith and Jigba, 6 receptions for 77 yards, 1 touchdown. And DK, he had 59 yards receiving. First of all, shout out to Jackson Smith and Jigba for stepping up and becoming the Seahawks' number one option. I'm not sure if on paper, like he's listed as like their number one option, but he's absolutely their number one option. You know what I mean? Absolutely. Just checking myself out a little bit. You know, I just got through it with a little shave. You know, you gotta check. You gotta see what's going on there. Um, yeah, so that's it. So the Seahawks win the whole NFC South. The NFC South, excuse me, the NFC West. That's the division. Don't say the first part. That's gonna be in the blooper reel. The NFC West is is a pretty interesting division. All of them are within one game of first place. The expectation is the 49ers are going to be that team. But that's because they went to the Super Bowl last year, everything like that. I don't know, man. I really don't know what to do. That's really what my take is from this game. Who is going to show themselves to be the dominant team in the NFC West? I kind of think, to be honest with you, I kind of think the Rams are going to end up doing it because they got back into it. And when everybody, remember in the beginning of the season, everybody was injured and they got back into the race. And now they're like, okay, uh, they're just getting to that point, and I think they should be able to. But I'm gonna hold judgment right there. Let me see. Let me see some stuff. All right. Let me see. Forcing me into making decisions. I need to see stuff first. All right. So this one was on it. So the Packers blew out the 49ers, of course, 38-10. The 49ers, for everybody who doesn't know, the 49ers had like 10 people who were injured, including the quarterback Brock Purdy. So let's look at some stats here. Uh, Brandon Allen was their quarterback. He was 17-29, 199 yards, one touchdown, one pick. George Kittle led them in receiving with 6 receptions for 82 yards and a touchdown. And Chris McCaffrey only had 31 yards rushing, so it really wasn't much there. Now, Jordan Love was 13-23, 163 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Josh Jacobs, he was 26 carries, 106 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Shout out to Josh Jacobs. Balled out. And Romeo Dobbs led them in receiving with 3 receptions for 54 yards. However, Tucker Kraft had a receiving touchdown, and so did Malik Heath. Um, well, I kind of spoke my piece on the 49ers in that last game. But when it comes to the Packers, actually, I like, how can I word this? Jordan Love kind of reminds me of Jordan Love reminds me of Lamar Jackson a little bit in that I also think he's not a quarterback who needs to throw the ball 30 times a game. 30 or 40 times a game. He's the kind of guy he need to, if you can create a running game and he can throw the ball 20 times a game, 20, 25 times a game. I think that's his sweet spot. And whatever the yards are, I think his decision making will allow him to have wide open windows. And I think he's very dangerous in that situation. So Josh Jacobs, Jordan Love, like that's how it is. The crazy thing is they're 8-3 and they're in third place. they're they're in third place in their own division and they're 8-3. So this is interesting. Um, yeah, I want to see what the Packers have in store. I still think they're going to be in the playoffs as they should at 8-3. I still think they're going to be in the playoffs. I really want to see their consistency and what they can do. I want to see what they can do in the playoffs. I want Jordan. I was slow on Jordan Love coming into last year. I was slow on him. I really want him to make some noise. I want some disruption. I like disruption in the playoffs. Just not against my team, but my team probably not even going to be there. So, but I like disruption in the playoffs. So I really want to see that, and I think they could be the disruptive team in the playoffs. They can mess some stuff up. So let's see what happens there. Right. All right. Who we got next? Who we got next? All right. Eagles Rams. This is a doozy. If people still say it probably should have said that. Pause. Let's just get that out of there. We don't need that in this. Uh So for the Rams, the Eagles beat the Rams 37-20. Um, just listen to what happened. Matthew Stafford, he was 25 of 36, 243 yards, two touchdowns, no picks. Kyron Williams had 16 carries for 72 yards and a touchdown. Puka Nacua had 9 receptions for 117 yards, no touchdowns. But Cooper Kupp had 8 receptions for 60 yards and a touchdown. And Demarcus Robinson had a touchdown receiving as well. And then Jalen Hurts was 15 of 22, 179 yards, one touchdown, no picks. Saquon Barkley was Saquon went off, y'all. Saquon Barkley was 26 carries for 255 yards and two touchdowns. He went off. Kenneth Gainwell also had a rushing touchdown. AJ Brown had 6 receptions for 109 yards and a touchdown. He led them there. So once again, I kind of already covered the Rams in talking about the NFC West. So of course, the NFC West being the Cardinals, the Rams, the 49ers, and the Seahawks. So just keep in mind, I pretty much already addressed them, so I'm not talking about them too much. The Eagles. So as I've been trying to tell y'all, the Eagles, I don't know why they're so low on who's coming out of the NFC or the NFC contenders for the Super Bowl. I have no idea why they're so low there. Uh, I'm thinking they're going to win. They're going to win the NFC and they're going to the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts is another quarterback, just like the Lamar Jackson. And I just told you about Jordan Love. Jalen Hurts is another quarterback. If you can get his passing attempts down, and not really force him to throw the ball 35, 40 times a game, you have a situation where his windows become wide open. Because the only way that that's going to be able to happen is if they can run the ball. And right now, Saquon Barkley is going crazy. Saquon Barkley is in the MVP. He's in historic talks now. We were just talking about Derrick Henry and how resurgent of a season he's had and how great of a year he's been having. Saquon now is leading the league in rushing. And it's because he's had like 3 weeks where he was like at like 150, 170, 255. You know what I mean? They were saying like through like 12 weeks, he's on pace for like with like Walter Payton and like Barry Sanders and people like that. This is crazy. Now, Derrick Henry's also doing that. But these are MVP numbers. Like he's putting his case for MVP. I didn't think Saquon Barkley would make that impact when the Eagles got him from the Giants. I don't know how else to put it, but I didn't think he would make that kind of impact. This is something that if you're saying I expected this, I think you're lying. I think you're just saying that. I think it's clickbait because you didn't think that Saquon Barkley was going to come in and be this dominant. And this, like, he might be the most important person on that offense. Does that now? That's what I'm saying. Saquon Barkley might be the most important person on the Eagles offense, and he just got there this year. This I want to know what y'all think about this. This is something I didn't expect from him. I thought he was good in New York, but this is the best year he's ever had. This is nuts. Shout out to Saquon. All right, and we're gonna finish up this week with the Ravens and the Chargers. So Baltimore beat. So the Ravens beat the Chargers 30-23. It really wasn't that close, but whatever. We'll stay there. Justin Herbert, he was 21 of 36 for excuse me. Let's try that again. Justin Herbert, he was 21 of 36 for 218 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. J.K. Dobbins, he led him with 40 yards rushing, but he hurt his knee. I'm actually waiting to hear back what happened with J.K. Dobbins because his knee, I don't know how bad that is, and that could be big. Justin Herbert had a rushing touchdown, and so did Gus Edwards. Lad McConkey led him in receiving with 6 receptions for 83 yards. Yeah. Now with the Ravens, Lamar Jackson was 16 of 22, 177 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Derrick Henry had 24 carries, 140 yards, no touchdowns. But Justice Hill he had a rushing touchdown, and Lamar also had a rushing touchdown. So Lamar had 3 rushing touchdowns. Zay Flowers had 5 receptions for 62 yards, no touchdowns. But Mark Andrews had a touchdown, and Rashad Bateman had a touchdown. I think with the Chargers, I think we're about to see a cool off from them. I think the Chargers are about to start cooling off. I told you, every time you start to look at the Chargers as a viable option, whatever you think the hurdle that they're about to jump over, they're not about to jump over it. they're they're not about to jump over it at all. And I'm really curious to see how they turn out. Now I'm just looking at the rest of their games. Um, they got the Falcons this week. Then they got the Chiefs, or next week. Excuse me. Next week they got the Falcons. Then they got the Chiefs. Then they got the Bucks. Then they got the Broncos. Then they got the Patriots and the Raiders. Yeah, I could easily see them losing like 4 of them games, and that's just who they are, and whatever. Um. So yeah, but I want to see with them because I think Harbaugh has put them in the right direction. I think they got another year. They need another year to get that culture correct. I don't think they've shaken anything yet. So they're not for me, even though their record says different, they're not a threat to me. Now the Ravens, on the other hand, they are a threat. And once again, see, this is exactly what I was talking about. Lamar Jackson, 16 to 22, 177 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, and he had a rushing touchdown. This is Lamar Jackson, as crazy as this is Lamar Jackson MVP numbers. It's not the yards. It's the fact that the attempts get to stay down so much that it keeps the defense not prepared for the excellence of Lamar Jackson. 177 yards is not crazy numbers. He's not a guy. He's a guy. If you can get him around 170 yards to about 250 yards, if he can accomplish that in about 25 passes, the Ravens are the most unstoppable team in the NFL. You know, uh, but the only question for the Ravens, once again, they got 2 questions to answer: Steelers, Chiefs, and they're going to see one of those 2 teams against everybody else. I actually tend to like them against everybody else. Everybody else. Steelers and Chiefs. Those are the 2 kryptonites for the Ravens, and they're gonna have to answer that question. So that was week 12 in the books. That was a crazy week, let me tell you. So so let's just jump right into week 13. Look at some great games so that before we get into our topic that we'll talk about. And I'm still thinking about it. I just want y'all to know all of this is always off the cuff. So I'm still thinking about what I'm going to talk about. I didn't have to come up with it because it was just me today. And can I also tell y'all something? Like I like it sometimes when it's just us, but I also like it because I don't have to think of all these topics for somebody else. I can just kind of talk about stuff, and it feels really good. So, Bears, Lions. Do I really want to? All right, so games to watch: Packers, Dolphins. Um, I think the Packers are going to win this game. They're too good. Even though the Dolphins are a team that has come back a little bit and everything, they still got the same holes that I expect them to have in the regular season. I mean, before the regular season started. So they don't have a good offensive line. They don't have a good defensive line. They're a team that you can run on them. They're quite soft, but they just have great wide receivers. But they're quite soft. And the Packers they have a very good offensive line. Very good defensive line. Not great, but over 4 quarters, you're going to start to see that happening. But I do think it could be a very interesting, entertaining game. But I got the Packers coming away with that one. And these are all Thanksgiving games, by the way. Well, Thanksgiving week. Some of them are, you know. Why did they make the Chiefs and Raiders the only Friday game? Whatever. I don't know why they did that. That's just stupid. Yeah, that's ridiculous. That was dumb. All right. But no, we're not talking about that. Chargers Falcons. Um I mean this game has a lot of implications for the NFC and the NFC. I'm thinking about this one. I'm going with the Falcons. Well, I just want let me just see where it is in Atlanta. Yeah, I'm going with the Falcons. I'm going with the Falcons. In a 1 o'clock game. This is a 1 o'clock game, and they got to go from the West Coast to the East Coast. So 1 o'clock. See, when you on the East Coast, 1 o'clock on the East Coast is uh it's 10 a.m. there. So they're playing 10 a.m. and this isn't normal for them. And they're playing the Falcons. Oh yeah, I'm going to Falcons on that one. Going to Falcons on that one. Jets Seahawks. I wish the Jets played a little bit better because I would actually think about them, but it's not a good game. But they could upset them, but I don't think that's a really good game. Steelers Bengals. Let's see something. Let's see something. Technically, the Bengals aren't out of the NFC. I mean, out of the race. Um, do I think where's this at? Where's this at? This is in Cincinnati. Do I think it might? Nope. I'm going with the Steelers on that one. I think it should be um, a very good game. The Bengals caught them the wrong week because they just lost to the Browns, and I don't think they expected to lose to the Browns. So now I'm sure they're going to come back angry and looking at the Bengals and saying, "Yeah, we're taking you seriously," and they're not a very good, well, they don't have a very good record at least. So here's that. Um, all right. So versus Vikings versus I say Minnesota. Vikings versus Cardinals. This should be a good game. This should be a good game. Um, let me think, y'all. Let me think. Let me think. Vikings versus Cardinals. You know what? I keep looking at the Vikings and I keep expecting them to have a week where they kind of revert. I think they're kind of overachieving. I don't think they're as good. Now, I don't think the Cardinals are excellent, but I think they need this game more. I always like teams that need the game more. You know what I mean? If you're not, if the talent scale isn't lopsided, then the team that needs the game more, I tend to like a little bit more. So I'm gonna go with the Cardinals on that one. I really wanted to put the I really wanted to put the 49ers and the Bills. The 49ers and the Bills on it, but the 49ers are not just they're not it. They're they're going to lose this game. Everybody's hurt. Everybody's hurt for the 49ers, so the Bills are going to win that game. But this is the game of the week. And this is the game that I'm definitely watching this week. Um this is going to be a battle. Oh man. I've been talking about these two teams. I didn't even recognize how much I've been talking about these two teams that they're playing, and this is crazy. But the Eagles versus the Ravens. I can't wait for this game. Now, this game, all eyes on this game. This every other game, I'm gonna have to put it to the side. Is it at least the nighttime game? No, of course not. It's at 4:25. Why wouldn't they make that a Monday night game or something like that? That's ridiculous. We got the Browns and the Broncos for the Monday night game. I don't know what that's about. But the Eagles and the Ravens. This game should be crazy. And it's in Baltimore. I'm gonna go with the Ravens. And now let me just say this. And I want to say this. Right before that, like 5 seconds before that, I was ready to say the Eagles. I'm telling you, Lamar is something different against these NFC teams. They don't get to see him very often. So when they play Lamar, even though the Eagles have another fast quarterback, even they got somebody who's like Lamar Jackson, and I get it. But NFC teams, like Lamar Jackson is dominant against teams that don't play him very often. It's like they say like he's faster, he's more athletic, he's more agile, he throws the ball with better touch. You know what I mean? Like when you're not prepared for Lamar Jackson, it's just he's just a different monster. So I'm going with the Ravens there. But I think that could be a very good game. Matter of fact, I expect that to be a very good game. All right. Right now, the playoff standings are they just released the playoff standings and how things are right now. So let's see what happens or what all this is looking like right now. And let's start with the NFC. In the NFC, right now, the number one seed is the Detroit Lions. The number two seed is the Philadelphia Eagles. The three seed is the Seattle Seahawks. The number four seed is the Atlanta Falcons. Number five seed is the Minnesota Vikings. The number six seed is the Green Bay Packers, and number seven seed is the Commanders. This is looking very good. I'm interested to see what like. So I don't think this is set. A lot of times when you'll see a gap, right? But like it's the Commanders. See, the Commanders really had uh a strong like they could have really just they had control over this. They had control over the playoffs, their standing and everything. But now at 7-5, the Cardinals are 6-5, the Rams are 5-6, the 49ers are 5-6. The Bucks are 5-6, and after that, we don't really talk about anybody. But nobody's officially eliminated yet. I really want to know. Y'all need to comment and let me know what y'all think about these NFC picks and or not picks. These NFC standings. Like who's going to drop out? I really want to know who's going to drop out of the NFC playoffs. I think it's just a lot. So much is going to have implications coming down the stretch, And I have a lot of questions. Are the Seahawks going to maintain that, or will the Cardinals or Rams or 49ers figure it out and win the NFC West? Do do two teams get in from the NFC West and two teams from the NFC? I mean, two teams from the NFC North. What happens there? These are all questions. These are questions that I have. I have questions all the time. All right. So let's go AFC. So in the AFC, the number one seed is the Kansas City Chiefs. The number two seed is the Buffalo Bills. The number three seed is the Pittsburgh Steelers. Number four seed is the Houston Texans. The five seed is the Baltimore Ravens. Six seed is the Chargers. The seven seed is the Broncos. So those are the teams that are, if the playoffs started today, they'd be in the playoffs. Now, them bubble teams, you got the Dolphins at 5-6. And then you got my Colts at 5-7. Then you got the Bengals at 4-7, and the Browns at 3-8. But we ain't even gonna get into all of that. Guys, for some strange reason, I still like. I don't know. I don't know. The Chargers are right to just mess this up, miss the playoffs. That would be amazing. That would be amazing. Um, but no, I think there's less questions with the AFC side than the NFC side. Um, and I think the Broncos are definitely a solid team. But let's see what happens with my Colts. We're 2 or 3 games out of it. You know, it's a hard road. I mean, the Chargers probably did enough to figure this out, but we'll see. We'll see. All right, guys, we ain't gonna keep you all that long today. Next week, I promise we're gonna have somebody next week. Don't worry about that. But we're gonna wrap this up. So thank y'all for being with me. Uh, we always love having you guys, and we appreciate everybody being a part of our growth. And you guys watching us grow, and we want to be that sports show for you. You see what I'm saying? So stay tuned. I think we got some special things coming in the future. With that said, you already know you can catch our full episodes on Spotify and YouTube. Catch our reels on you. I said on YouTube. You catch our reels on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Guys, we all over the place. It's come closer. Come closer. 'Cause I want to tell y'all this because it's a secret. I love y'all. I love y'all. Because you don't know football. Sorry, it wasn't a secret. I want to say happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Uh, I want to hear, matter of fact, comment what you guys are eating below. Comment, ooh, excuse me. Comment what for foods. What's your favorite Thanksgiving foods? Tell me what you guys got going on Thanksgiving. And stay tuned in. And like Martin said, I'm going to see you when I see you. Peace.